Hey YouTube, welcome to another video. In this episode, I will show how to configure your Omada controller for high availability by setting up hot standby backup mode. TPLINK consider this setup as working in cluster mode. In hot standby backup mode, I will set up two hardware controllers. As you can see in this diagram, I have two controllers. One of them will be a primary controller and one of them will be a secondary controller. In this mode, the primary controller is the main controller for the whole network. The secondary controller just synchronizes the data between them. When the primary controller goes down, the network devices will go offline until such time that the secondary controller performs a successful failover and takes over the whole network operation. Note that after a successful failover, the secondary controller becomes the primary controller. So even when the previous primary controller goes back up again, it will now become the secondary controller. There will be some prerequisites for this particular configuration. First, step 0, like everything else in my videos, you must have a LAN diagram and back up the current running configurations for your controller. Make sure that the hardware controllers are the same make and model. In this video, I am using OC220 for both of my hardware controllers. Make sure that the firmware are updated and they are exactly the same for both controllers. Also, make sure that both controllers are in the same network segment or in the same management VLAN. And last but not the least, and very important, the controller's time should be the same or within 20-second difference. Before I head on to the Omada console, let me just speak a little bit about this line diagram. So for this line diagram, the most important thing to consider are the connectivity of both controllers. Right now, both controllers are connected to the gateway. Now let me move on to the Omada console. So this is my Omada console. I have logged into both of my controllers. So this is the controller 1 and this is controller 2. And I have already set up my controller 2 in light mode while the controller 1 is in dark mode. So it's easy to distinguish which controller I am on currently. This is my primary controller as of this time. I have multiple sites in here and then I have devices in here. There you go. And for this one, I don't have any other device because this is being prepped as a secondary controller. Let me just go back to the dashboard and let me go to the global. As you can see, I don't have any other settings in here. Prior to setting up the host controller mode, you must have a static IP configured and set up for both of your controllers. So go to settings, controller settings, and if you scroll down a little bit, you can see here that I have configured it with having a static IP. The same thing for my second controller. Settings, controller settings. And if I scroll down, you can see that this one is also set as a static IP 192.168.0.200. In order for this to be configured as a cluster mode, I'll go back to the primary controller. So let me go to settings and then click cluster in here. And I'll turn on cluster button in here. There you go. There's only one option in here, so you won't make any mistake. You can see here it's going to be configured as a hot standby backup mode. In this mode, the primary node manages all devices while the secondary node stands by. So the local device management IP or hostname, so this is optional, you can leave it as is. But this one, the remote IP, will be the IP address of your second controller. So this one's going to be 192.168.0.200. And I'm going to select primary status for this particular one. And for the key, I'll just say twin POP6. So twin POP6, or you can click random in here. There you go. And that will also work. For now, I'll use twin POP6. Let me click apply. And Omada will prompt you for confirmation. Please save the settings first. Rebooting will be required to apply the settings. So I'll click confirm. So you can see there is a reminder in here that before you reboot, that make sure that the primary and secondary nodes use the same product model and software version and their IP addresses and keys are correct. If the configurations are incorrect, hardware reset will be required to restore the mode. It's recommended to back up the configuration in advance. I will reboot this one later and I will configure the second controller so that when they reboot, they will reboot at the same time to minimize the waiting. So let me go to second controller and I will do the same thing. Settings, cluster, and then I'll turn it on. It's very similar setup in here. For the remote host and IP host name, I will use the controller 1's IP information, so 192.168.0.100, and this one will be a secondary. And I will paste here the twin POP/sys password that I copied earlier, and then I will click apply. Again, another confirmation in here. I'll just click confirm. There you go. And I will click reboot here, and then I will click reboot on the other one as well. Both of them will reboot, so I will get disconnected. Reboot, then reboot. So I will post the recording here, and I'll come back once the devices have fully rebooted. Okay, so both of them have already boot up, and when I logged in, it just went directly here. Let me check the status of the cluster. And you can see here, this is the status of the cluster. It says here that the primary is 192.168.0.100, and the secondary is 192.168.0.200, and the status is currently connected. CPU usage is quite low. You can see here it's 3%, 3%, and memory usage is quite a bit high on the primary one versus the secondary controller. Let me go back to the secondary controller and see what's happening. So the secondary controller copied the whole setup of the primary controller. As you can see here, even the name itself has changed, Omada controller 01, and the settings has also changed from light mode to dark mode. But you can actually see here that the IP address is actually the correct one, 192.168.0.200. And you can see the same exact settings in here for the cluster node list. As can be seen here, this is the 192.168.0.200, and the other one is the 192.168.0.100. So I think that's pretty much for this video. As can be seen here, it's pretty much straightforward to configure. Just turn on the cluster settings, fill in all the necessary information, and you're good to go. So thank you again for watching my video. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you don't like this video, please give it a dislike, but do let me know what you don't like so that I can make those changes and improvements in my future videos. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. It really does help the channel, and I really want to grow my channel and reach 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you again for watching my video. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you and bye-bye.